well, what's a blonde? What does blonde mean? How much does blonde go? Is somebody who bleaches her hair blonde, is that still a blonde or is she really something else? There are a lot of social aspects to even just that one stupid piece of data, which is relatively small. And so the point is that a word or a phrase that gains meaning and context by the social environment that uses it, the environment actually constructs that meaning. The meaning didn't exist before that. Like you can go blonde. What's blonde? Who knows? But blonde is different if you grew up in the 1980s in Los Angeles, as I did. I see some people today, they go, oh, look, bleach blonde. And I'm like, oh, no, no. Mm-mm. You needed to see people with like white cabriolets with the top down and the windows up, singing along to Janet Jackson or something. That was it. So, anyway, social construct. It is a word or a phrase that gains meaning through a social environment actually using it. Doesn't mean it's false, but it does mean that the meaning is socially contextual, so that it has to do with a particular social environment. So when we hear people say, well, gender is not a social construct, gender is sex, they're trying to do a bioessential argument. So it says gender comes from biology. There is some truth to that. But when you hear people say gender is a social construct, typically what they're trying to say is that there are characteristics of gender that are contextual to the social environment. Because, I mean, if I were to give you three characteristics, say long hair, long lavish hair, beautiful makeup, and high heels, are these masculine or feminine characteristics? What do you think?
Feminine, feminine.
But I didn't tell you from when, or tell you when or where. Pre-revolution France, it was a big thing to have a lavish wig. Made you look powerful, made you look rich, is what it is. The makeup would make you look more impressive. The heels would make you taller. So those were three very highly masculine characteristics pre-revolution France, but not now. And that's part of where Butler ended up developing their theory, is that as gender characteristics can change based on social environment, then gender itself must be socially defined, must be a social construct. Neither of those two feels very comforting, feels very whole. The idea that we are defined only by genetics is kind of disappointing because it takes first of all agency out of it. Not just agency, but also a sense of responsibility out of it, because you can say, well, it was just my genetics. If I did something wrong, then it was just my genetics. But also, even for accomplishments, if you go, wow, I was able to get this great degree, somebody could go, well, you had good parents. It diminishes that as well. Having all this be socially constructed is also not very comforting.